Hello and welcome to the premiere episode of Joe's Knows the World Cup. Guys, today we have a pretty packed episode. We're going over the group stage madness that just occurred. Obviously, we have to mention the USA. They're making the round of 16. We have to go over that. It was a wild ride to the round of 16. And then we're going to do full tournament predictions for the 16 teams currently in the World Cup. So, Andrew Eisenhart, Seth Kodor, I'm your host, Ben Chadwick. Guys, let's start off with the group stage overview. Is there anything we want to start off with here for this section?
I mean, I feel like every group was super competitive that we could honestly just go in order, and we would have so much to talk about each group. I mean, in specific, obviously, Group H was super competitive. I mean, Group E, that one came down to the wire. Group C also was insane with Argentina and Mexico at the end coming down to the yellow cards.
Yeah.
Group B with the USA was insane. Group A was much less competitive, but honestly, I enjoyed watching every team so far.
I completely agree. I mean, honestly, if you guys want to, we can do that. I mean, so let's just hit Group A real quick. Netherlands looked very good the entire time.
Yeah, they're not gonna look good at all tomorrow. Captain America is coming to save us all.
And hey, we got a whole section for that, but yeah, that'll be a very fun game tomorrow morning. First ever of the round 16 games for the 2022 World Cup. Yeah, Netherlands made it. Senegal was a couple points ahead of Ecuador, but it was really those top three because Qatar, they got 0 points. They didn't tie. They lost every single game. 6 goals scored against them in 3 games. So yeah, they hosted the World Cup.
They were the first host. They illegitimately hosted the World Cup. Let's say that first.
Well, we can hit on that, but like also, do we think they would have made any World Cup for the next 100 years if they hadn't hosted it?
Oh, absolutely not.
No, I don't think so.
Absolutely not. It came to the point where they're literally hiring fans at this point. I mean, there was a couple of videos. It was just, I mean, I won't specify exactly how the fans looked, but it was very easy to tell they were not from Qatar.
Oh yeah, and it's like it's so weird to have a team like that with like just how bad they are, and you put them with like solid. It's not a great group, but for them not to even tie, they did score a single goal though. I think, right?
I don't believe so.
They had one goal.
They had their one goal. So we'll clap it up for Qatar, but nonetheless, 0 points. -6.
It's kind of like the Cowboys when they win one playoff game and.
Hey, we have a whole episode on Sunday. We got bash the Cowboys like we do on every NFL episode. Right now, just give me my piece, all right? That's all I ask.
No problem.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Group B, obviously the U.S. advancing. England looked fairly dominant, but I mean, guys, that last game with the U.S. and Iran was unbelievable. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit on that. We could dive into the U.S. for a little bit right here.
Let's talk about how Father Pulisic somehow, I don't know. He scored that goal, injured and everything. I mean, like, listen. 1 second. You hear that?
Yeah,
that's Pulisic coming for Netherlands tomorrow, 10 a.m. It's happening again. Pulisic scored against Iran. That was an insane goal. There was another goal that was called back. They called it offsides or something. I blame the refs. Other than that, I think the midfield specifically for the U.S. has been really strong with Musa, Tyler Adams. I mean, even in these press conferences, you can see the aura around this team. It's like, a very young team, high in spirits. I think everyone was writing them off like Geno Smith coming into the World Cup. They didn't even make the World Cup last year, and I think they're doing a good job of proving people wrong, and I think that's going to continue.
Yeah, so Kathy, you mentioned that midfield. I mean, you got Weston McKennie. Pulisic is technically a midfielder. You mentioned Tyler Adams. He's played incredible. He also played awesome in their last game versus Iran. Yeah. So, hey, that midfield is going to be the difference maker to keeping them going in this tournament. But, guys, I do want to touch a little bit on, I'm not sure if you know too much about this striker who I don't even know if he's played yet in the World Cup. It's Reyna for the U.S. He hasn't seen any time, and people make the argument he's a top 3, and just in terms of talent, a top 3 player on this team. So do we have any speculation on why he hasn't been seeing any minutes?
I mean, it beats me, but I mean, if we're looking at the chemistry around this team, I personally wouldn't disturb something if I'm the U.S. coach.
You see that? Like, I don't know. That's where I think I disagree with you, because I think Reyna is just so talented. And I mean, let's be honest, the attack hasn't been incredible. I think the midfield and defense have been very good. We're not scoring a ton of goals. It's just we're not letting in a ton of goals. Also, shout out to the goalie for the U.S. too. He's played unbelievable. But I think this attack could really, really get a bit of boost up from Gio Reyna. But yeah, that might just be me. Maybe the coach sees something that I don't. Obviously, he's the coach. He knows more than I do. And hey, they made the round of 16, so I guess the lineup that's in right now is working for them.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that, something like a well-oiled machine, something that's working, it's been working consistently. I mean, they made it to the top 16, so like Saketh said, why disturb it? I think keep it going, see what they can do, see how far they can get.
Yeah, I want to touch on just a couple more of the group stage madness that just occurred in the past few days. If we move on to Group C, arguably the craziest group, Argentina advances. They had a bit of a comfortable lead with 6 points. And then, guys, Poland and Mexico tied at 4 points, and they were tied in terms of goal differential for the longest time. So at some point, it actually came down to fair play, in which Mexico had more yellow cards. So everyone was thinking, oh, Poland might be getting through just because they're a more fair and decent team in terms of penalties. But then Saudi Arabia in the 95th, 96th minute against Mexico scores a goal to make it a 2-1 game, and that puts Mexico one less goal in terms of goal differential from Poland. So even though Poland lost 2-0, they still advance with Argentina. So, guys, I don't know if you guys have ever seen anything that crazy in any type of sport.
Yeah, I mean, this group was just complete madness. I mean, I believe every single team in that group was like on the chopping block at some point in the time frame of those two games. I mean, Saudi players, they beat Argentina, but then they got busy with their Bentleys, and I don't know exactly what happened against Mexico, but them scoring against Mexico ultimately shifted the whole thing. That was insane. I mean, yeah, I mean, Andrew, I don't know if you have anything to add, but like that group was just madness. And Ben, like you said, it came down to yellow cards at one point.
I mean, watching the Poland versus Argentina game, at least in the first half, it was just like total excitement. And I mean, emotions were just all over the place watching that game. I know I really like the goalie from Poland. I mean, I think he's just incredibly talented. I mean, he's 6'5". I mean, he's just massive. But, that's in the first half, a penalty kick against Messi, which is well known to be like a kind of a recipe for disaster. You think you're going to get scored on, but, he actually saved the ball. So, I mean, at least from the first half, from what I watched, it was just an amazing match. Really, really well done job from Poland and Argentina. So congrats on them both making it.
Yeah, and Andrew, you mentioned the Polish goalie, and I'm going to try and harness my inner Polish blood here and try and pronounce this name. Wojciech Szczesny is, I think, something similar to his name, but he had by far the most saves for on-target shots in the World Cup. He had 18. In second place was the Serbian goalie with 11. And then third place was the Netherlands goalie who had 10 in the group stages. So, I mean, he was by far, it wasn't even a competition for who the best goalie was. And, hey, they're advancing, and that could mean the world with how that goalie plays against a lot better competition in this round of 16 tournament stage. Yeah. So it should be fun. I want to move on. We have a lot more groups that had some madness. Group D, guys. I mean, France and Australia moved on pretty comfortably, but that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the fact that Australia as a team moved on, and a team like Denmark scored a point. They scored a single point. They tied once. Australia beat them 1-0. Australia beat Tunisia 1-0. Obviously, we knew France was going to advance, but guys, Australia, like, where did that come from?
Yeah, I mean, this group was also kind of crazy. I mean, we knew from the start France was locked in for the top of that group, but then they lost to Tunisia, and I don't think the Tunisian players knew exactly what was going on with the Australian game. But, that was also a roller coaster of emotions. I mean, Andrew, I don't know if you got anything.
Yeah, I mean, just surprised overall by Australia. I would have never guessed, just looking at from before the World Cup even started, that Australia was even going to be a competitor. So, I mean, congrats to them again. Like, I personally just had no idea with a team like France, which is very well, they have a lot of style, a lot of class. They're also a really just well done team. They just, they have a background, but not only that, they just consistently have done really well. So, I mean, tying with points with France, I mean, France, Australia tying for points is something I never would have expected.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of France too, I mean, they have looked incredible. Mbappe might be the best player in the world just at this point, in this very moment in the World Cup. He has been nearly unstoppable. Griezmann has become an incredible playmaker for them. He's tied for the most chances created in the group stage. The defense is flowing very well. The goalie is playing great. I think it's Hugo Lloris in goal for them right now. So France is a juggernaut, and they're looking to repeat off of 2018, and I think they have a very good shot to. So
Yeah.
we'll move on. Yeah, we'll move on to the next group stage. We had Group E, another very interesting one. Japan at the top, Spain in second, knocking off Costa Rica, which I mean they expected to get knocked off. Maybe not in fourth place. They could have gotten third. But guys, Germany got knocked off, and they kind of played good too, which is so weird. It's just how everything worked out. Spain, their goal differential was just so much higher than Germany, despite them being at the same number of points scored. So, guys, if you're Germany right now, like, how are you feeling about already being out of this tournament?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost kind of bad luck because Spain absolutely dominated Costa Rica, won by 7 goals. So their goal difference was
Yeah.
like insane. But, I was personally really surprised seeing Germany, not qualify. But I mean, I feel like they still played really good. I mean, I was watching the games and they were just dominating some of these teams in possession time, but, they just simply couldn't put the ball in the goal.
Right. Yeah, I mean, with Germany, this is the third time I believe ever that they haven't qualified for the knockout round in the World Cup. I mean, just kind of a big deal. I mean, Germany has kind of taken a hard decline from when they previously won their last World Cup. I mean, they were just incredible that year, but like just taking a steady decline. I know in the 2018 World Cup, I'm pretty sure they made it, but I don't remember them looking very good.
No, I think you're completely right too. And the weird thing with Germany is that they tied Spain. They beat Costa Rica pretty pretty well, I guess you could say,
Yeah, and then they
4-2,
lost to Japan.
and they lost to Japan 2-1. It's like it's a tie to a great team. You lose to Japan, who I mean, hey, they finished first. You kill Costa Rica. It almost seems like that should be enough to get you through, and it's just not. It's just because Spain and that 7-0 Costa Rica game that just skyrocketed them above Germany. If they won that game 1-0, they would have been tied and it would have gone to fair play. And who knows what it would have come down to, and who knows would be advancing right now for Group E. Another surprising number one seed in the next group, Group F. Guys, in a group with Croatia and Belgium, Morocco is the one to come out on top. 7 points for Morocco. I mean, what are we to make of that, especially knocking off Belgium and not even letting them advance?
Yeah, I mean, they somehow tied against Croatia. It was honestly really surprising to me. Beat Canada, which I was personally not really surprised about. And then they beat Belgium 2-0, and I was honestly super surprised. I mean,
Yeah.
for the last 2 World Cups, Belgium looked like a team that belonged in the knockout stages. I mean, yeah, I was just personally really surprised. I didn't going into the World Cup, I was not even aware Morocco was this strong of a team. But I mean, players like Hakim Ziyech stepped up. I mean, their defense was just so good. Their midfield, I mean, I don't know how they were able to hold off some of these teams, but they got it done.
And hey, I appreciate you bringing up a name because I'll be honest, I don't think I can tell you a single Moroccan player at this very moment. But hey, I mean, as a unit, they're working together. And you brought up Belgium. Talk about naming players. I mean, you got De Bruyne, you got Hazard. There's so many guys on that team. Only thing that I could really come up with is they're getting up there in age a little bit. And I mean, they got knocked out in 2022. So this could be the downfall of Belgium. And all of their main guys are aging out and could very likely be their last World Cup, at least while they're in their prime. So it's going to be very interesting for how Belgium handles this whole situation. Moving on to Group G, nothing too crazy here. Brazil is a lot of people's favorite for the entire thing, for just winning the World Cup. And then Switzerland will also advance alongside them. Cameroon and Serbia get knocked out. Guys, I don't really have much to add to this. If you guys don't either, we can move on. But anything to add for Group G?
I mean, first of all, so far we've seen the goal of the tournament with Brazil. I mean, that was insane. But I mean, Brazil is playing really good without their star player, to be honest, without Neymar. So I mean, like when they let him out in the group stages, I think Brazil is going to dominate even more than they already have.
Yeah, without a key player like Neymar, I mean, the fact that they've gotten as far as they did, I mean, maybe their group isn't as good as others, but I think that without a key player like Neymar, it's just already you can just see how strong this team is.
Yeah.
With just how many points they've got. I mean, 6 points is pretty good, tying with Switzerland, but I mean, winning 2 out of their 3 games is without one of their best players is still pretty impressive.
And I mean, you want to talk about guys stepping up. I mean, one guy I could just throw out there, Casemiro from Real Madrid. He looks like the best passer in the entire World Cup at the moment. Some of the passes he's making are unbelievable. Not exactly sure on his assist totals, but just the playmaking he's able to do at that center mid position. I mean, it means the world right now to Brazil. And just imagine when they get Neymar back. I mean, it's going to be very hard to beat a team like this. We'll move on to our final group, the Group H. So Portugal, led by Ronaldo, advances. I don't know if you guys saw that controversial goal that Ronaldo took credit for. That's a very Ronaldo thing to do, in my opinion.
Yeah,
are you talking about the one where it looked like he headed it in, but he just didn't?
Yeah, he didn't touch it at all, and yeah, he still took credit, knowing that he didn't touch the ball.
I mean, yeah, but at the end of the day, I think his presence alone caused the goal. I mean, obviously he shouldn't be credited with the goal, but if you really break down that goal, you see the goalie flinched at Ronaldo and just missed the ball completely. So I mean, yeah, whatever. It was still a great goal in my opinion.
Well, I think it was too. It's just so funny because, in my opinion, that's just such a Ronaldo thing to do.
Yeah,
like he's notoriously such a selfish player, and for him to take credit for a goal he had nothing to do with physically, I know mentally he probably messed up the goalie a little bit. It's just hilarious to me. But yeah, Portugal advances. They are the 1 seed. Another bit of a controversy here. So South Korea and Uruguay were tied at 4 points. They were tied in goal differential. So then it went to the total goals scored because I believe they were tied in fair play as well. And South Korea just barely had more in total goals in the group stage. So I guess we're valuing offense more than defense here in the World Cup. And South Korea, I mean, another interesting thing, some of the players are wearing masks during the World Cup. Like Heung-min Son, he's been incredible for Tottenham. And he's been great for them in the World Cup. So that could be a very, very underdog, very sleeper team for the round of 16, guys.
Oh, yeah. And just while we're talking about this group, I mean, this Uruguay-Ghana game felt like more than just soccer. It felt like revenge to these Ghana players. I mean, I don't know if you remember, Ben, but when Suarez blocked the ball with his hand in the last World Cup, that really fired up a lot of Ghana players, and I think that itself was really interesting. It was an interesting dynamic between these two teams.
Yeah, really quickly going back to South Korea, Son Heung-min is, I mean, just from fracturing all of the parts around his left eye, I mean, and then coming back a month later but wearing like a carbon fiber mask and playing the way that he's playing, which is just, I mean, incredible. He's one of the best players on the team, is just extremely impressive. And they should, I mean, South Korea is definitely, I have to agree, a sleeper team.
It could be so fun to see what they could do. So many great teams are going to be in the round 16. Before we get to our predictions for the round of 16 and the entire tournament as a whole, I want to do a little bit of breakdown for the U.S. Obviously, everyone in the country knows the U.S. advanced to the round of 16, but I want to go more in depth as to how that happened. So, guys, I'm thinking we go game by game for the U.S. on their journey to the round of 16. So let's start off with the USA-Wales game. It was tied at 1-1 in the end. But, guys, a lot of people thought this was going to be the first win for U.S. So let's get a bit of a breakdown here for this game.
Well, first of all, that Wales game was honestly just a warm-up for England. I mean, if we're being honest, Wales is just England's B team. So that in general, just I mean, it was an interesting time. First World Cup since 2014. I mean, coming out of the gates, it felt like USA dominated the possession time. I felt like Wales didn't even get a crack at it. And then Tim Weah ended up scoring. And then I was really confident that USA was just going to keep the ball because the possession time was just so much in their favor. But, you know, Wales ended up scoring off a penalty kick. And, you know, they tied. But, I mean, just breaking down these games one by one, you could really see how this team progressed from game to game to game. I mean, first game, I felt like, you know, our attacking unit wasn't as strong as it was in the Iran game. Obviously, our midfielders have been the strength of this team. Personally, I feel like with Musa, Tyler Adams, McKennie. But yeah, I mean, Andrew, Ben, you guys got anything?
Yeah, so I mean, you mentioned it, USA with the possession time. Also, something interesting. I mean, everyone was like, "Yeah, we tied," but what could have been? And I brought that up at the start when I introed this game. I mean, Bale. I don't know if you guys remember when Bale was fouled by Zimmerman in the box. He had gotten the ball and he turned his body so that him and the ball were facing his own goal. His back was to the U.S. goal, and then Zimmerman just flies in. I mean, he gets the ball, yeah, but he also takes out Bale through the entire thing. So no one on the U.S. side, the players, the coaches, the fans, were even mad at the call. They were just mad at the fact that Zimmerman thought it was a good idea to try and get the ball out of there and clear it by that means.
That was horrible, and that cost them the game.
It did. I mean, they would have had no worry with that Iran game, and they could have maybe even won the group if they had won that original Wales game. But hey, I mean, it's a tie game there. So we'll move on to the next game, possibly the most hyped up soccer game in recent memory: England versus the U.S. So Andrew, I'll throw this one to you. Anything you want to bring up for how this game went?
I mean, besides the fact that we had like a 17% chance of winning, I mean, tying, as much as I hate to say it, I'm pretty satisfactory with the tie from the U.S. I mean, a loss would have been actually pretty devastating to the U.S. With the goal differential. I mean, like with everything. I mean, England obviously we all knew was going to be the big, you know, Goliath for this division, but I think that USA could definitely be one of the Davids in the rest of the tournament. Just actually like a sleeper team. I mean, that last minute goal against Iran, just besides the tie here, I mean, I think that really set it up for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, and Andrew, I think USA's defense really dominated in the England game. I mean, England was winning in possession time. England got more shots on goal, more shots on target. It was just honestly surreal to see how such a young USA team could compete with this England team. And I think like this is not even the strongest USA team we're going to see. I think next World Cup, we're going to be even stronger with how much young talent we have.
That's something else I want to bring up. Shout out Mr. Rogan for this fun fact. He told me it for the first time. U.S. has the youngest starting 11 in the entire World Cup. And then we're hosting it in 2026. So automatically we're in, even though I'm guessing we probably still would have made it. So, guys, this team is only getting better. And if this is already a round of 16 team, like, what are our thoughts on what this team could be 4 years from now?
I mean, in front of Lady Liberty in 2026, I don't think it's going to be very easy to stop us at all.
Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, like Saketh said, with the growing team and the automatic, placement into the tournament for next year's World Cup, I think the development of the team could be really something amazing. I mean, with already how we're doing, how we made it into the 16. I mean, against some pretty top teams, like tying with England, like I said before, is pretty big. Especially with the defense, with the coaching, everything about it. If we keep evolving with this team, I think that the USA could be a pretty big name in next year's World Cup.
Yeah, and guys, I mean, let's get to the game that advanced them into the round of 16, which is the only reason why we're still talking about them today. US 1-0 victory versus Iran. So, Keth, Andrew, anything you guys want to throw in for this one?
I mean, first of all, I will say, Ben, that watch party at St. Joe's was absolutely insane.
It was electric.
It was great. But yeah, I mean, like I said before, the midfield for US just seems to be on another level from the rest of this team. I mean, besides Pulisic in that midfield, I personally don't, and Matt Turner. But yeah, that Musa, Tyler Adams, McKinney, those three have really been carrying the load there, and I feel like that's really the reason why we've been tying in games and why we edged out the win against Iran.
Yeah, and you brought up Musa. I mean, just the defensive effort that he gave in that Iran game. He applied the most pressures by any player against Iran. I mean, he was unreal that game. Obviously, Pulisic just full on diving, putting his body on the line to get that goal. That was so fun to watch. But guys, at the end of that game, I mean, the reaction that the watch party had to the goal was incredible. But I mean, talk about 100-0 at the end of the game. Everyone was in shock and so distraught at the fact that they thought a penalty would be called and a penalty kick would be had for Iran. So I don't know if either of you guys want to talk on that a little bit, but was there any real fear for the U.S. right there, or were you pretty confident there wouldn't be a penalty?
Yeah, I go ahead.
Unfortunately, I wasn't actually at the watch party, so I didn't get to see it live, but I think that there's always a risk with a penalty kick like that. I mean, the suspense, the fear, I mean, everything about it was just electric. I mean, it's pretty, I would say that the matchup with England or with USA's goalie, actually, I think that they probably would have had a chance to save it. But I mean, there's always the fear of them scoring the goal because it's a free shot at the back of the net for Iran. So, I mean, honestly, like there's always that fear.
Yeah, definitely. And watching it live, at least, I mean, watching it live, it looked like there was something, but on the replay, I mean, it looked like there was barely a hand on the shoulder. It didn't look like it was disturbing, the person taking the shot at all. So yeah, I don't really think there was anything personally.
And now did the refs, and I mean, even during replay, you could watch it. Like, yeah, the hand was on his shoulder, but you could tell there was no force added. So all it was just a hand resting on a shoulder, and the guy just flew onto the ground, as soccer players do. We'll get very used to that as we keep watching the World
not
Cup.
USA. We don't do that.
Not USA. It's everyone else.
They thought Pulisic was doing it, and he was in the hospital. Captain America does not lie.
No, he doesn't. He went straight to the hospital. He took a picture just to congratulate the team. Yeah, Captain America.
And he's coming back tomorrow. He's unstoppable.
Yeah, hey, the return of Pulisic is going to be insane tomorrow. I never thought I'd be waking up at like 9:30 a.m. on a Saturday, but hey, here we are. We're rooting for America here. So I
watch party at Ben Chadwick's house.
Nope, I don't think so. Let's not invite people to my house. I cannot wait though. It's gonna be such a good game tomorrow. And talk about good games across the board. I want to get into our round of 16 predictions as well as the entire World Cup. But first off, let's start it off with the round of 16. So, guys, obviously the first game, I'm not sure how well you could even see with that. Let me try and zoom in for you. But obviously, the first game we have Netherlands versus the United States. I think I know where this one's going to go. But, Andrew, I'll start with you. Who are you going to pick in this game? There it is.
America, baby. But yeah, I mean,
coming
with the Netherlands, I mean, how can I say no to the USA winning. I mean, obviously the USA is going to win. If they don't win, then like we don't even have to talk about it because I'm so confident that the USA is going to win. Like the Netherlands is like, no.
Yeah, I think we just cancel the show at that point. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
once they're out, I
Yeah.
mean, we won't. But like, I feel like we're just all gonna be so sad once that happens. Like, what's the point?
Well, I mean, it's not going to happen. So
Yeah, no, I mean, because we're gonna win the World Cup. But like, I'm
Right,
just saying
yeah.
the if, ands, and buts. That's all it is.
right.
Obviously Netherlands is favored by some useless people in some city on the West Coast, but that doesn't matter because US is favored at St. Joe's, and that's all that
There it is.
matters because we are coming and we are coming very quickly. Netherlands better watch out. I mean, don't come back to me when US wins.
Don't come back to him and don't come back to me either. Give me the United States at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Next game we have, guys, Argentina versus Australia at 2 p.m. tomorrow. So, Andrew, I'll throw it right back to you.
See, this one is like, I mean, seeing Australia with the way that they were just a complete sleeper team in their division. I mean, I don't think that they're going to win, not even by a close margin. But Argentina definitely did have a few questionable times during their games. I mean, especially with the loss. I mean, we all were just amazed by that. I know I was just like, what even happened? Because Argentina's always been one of the top teams. But this one should be a pretty easy win for Argentina. Australia, I'm not going to rule them completely out, but I don't think it's very likely that they'll take it home.
Scath.
How funny would it be if Australia won? With that being said, I will not be picking them. Argentina is clearly the better team. Yeah, Argentina.
I think like I know we're all thinking it. I don't think anyone's mentioned him yet. I mean, Messi is great, and he's continued.
We'll mention him when he can make his PKs.
Oh, don't do it. It's the luck of the draw. I don't want to hear any of that. There's no being good at PKs. You just shoot it at one point of the goal. If it goes in, great job. If it does, like that's my take on it. That's why I think Ronaldo is so.
And that's why you're not a soccer player, Ben.
It makes sense. That's why I'm just putting my take out there. I don't think any of us are soccer players. So why are we even doing this?
No, I used to ball up with Messi back in the day.
Oh, who did? What'd you say?
I used to ball up with Messi back in the
Oh,
day.
you did? Well, if you could ask him why he missed that PK for us, and maybe we can even get him on the show, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I got you next time.
I appreciate it. Yeah, so look forward to Messi coming on the show next week. Yeah, but I mean, I gotta pick Argentina in this one. Like I said, Messi has been playing incredible. I'm not gonna call it a one-man show. You still got Di Maria and guys like that, but it really is Messi and everyone else. But for me, that is enough to put them over Australia in this game and advance them to the next round. So we'll move on to the other games and then we'll head back up for the winner of each game. So we have Japan versus Croatia here on Monday morning at 10 a.m. So Andrew, who are you going with for this one?
I mean, Japan is obviously the stronger team, but I do have to give it to Croatia here. I think that they're a very sleeper team. I mean, tying with Morocco with how well that they've done is just pretty big. I think that Croatia can definitely upset Japan. Japan, as we know, is, I mean, still a very strong team. I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if they won, but I still think that the possibility of Croatia winning is pretty high. So I'm going to give it to them for this one.
Scath?
I mean, if you're just going based off standings, I mean, yeah, Japan might look like the better team. But personally, I think Croatia is still the stronger team. I mean, they went to the World Cup finals last year. Obviously, they're one of the better teams in Europe. I personally think that, Croatia will be able to hold this Japanese team off a little bit. And for that reason, I'll take Croatia.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you here, Sakath. I'm going with Croatia as well. Luka Modric, call him the LeBron James of soccer. I think he's like 38 right now, and he's playing soccer, and he's a midfielder. He's running like 5-6 miles a game at 30. Like that is so impressive to me. And he's playing great too. So I think Luka Modric is going to be the difference maker in this one. So I'll have Croatia winning as well. Next game we have is Brazil, the powerhouse, versus another team we mentioned as a big sleeper, South Korea. So, Andrew, I'll throw it to you.
Yeah, I mean, South Korea being I think probably, like I said before with the analogy of David versus Goliath, I think that South Korea is definitely the David in this entire bracket. I mean, Brazil is obviously the better team with Neymar coming back. I think that it could be really tough for South Korea to win, but I'm not ruling it out. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I mean, they did beat Portugal. Portugal again is one of the stronger teams, one of the Davids in this tournament, or the Goliaths in this tournament. So I am still going to give it to Brazil, but I will not rule out South Korea. I still think that they have a good possibility to prevail against Brazil.
Kev?
I think honestly it's a bad draw for South Korea. I mean, you put them against almost any other team in any other round of 16. I think, they have a solid chance to make it past, besides the exception of like France. But put them against Brazil, I don't really know how they stack up against them. I mean, Richarlison, I think, Di Marino, Neymar, all of them, there's just way too much talent on this Brazil team. I don't think South Korea can compete.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I'm not. Do we have a timetable on when Neymar might return?
I think it's up for question whether he's gonna be back for this game or the following game. But regardless, I don't think it makes much of a difference.
Yeah, I know I mentioned South Korea, big sleeper team. I really do love them this year. I think them making the round of 16 is enough to show people that they are legit. But I mean, guys, once again, Brazil, like I said, Casemiro looks like one of the best players of the entire World Cup right now, especially if Neymar's back. They're winning this game. Even if he isn't back, I could still see it being a 2-goal or two plus goal win for Brazil. So I'll take Brazil as well in this one. And I think we'll keep it moving, and then we'll revisit all the future matchups that we're predicting. So we'll move on. Sunday at 10 a.m. It's a pretty nice game here. We got France versus Poland. And
so I know I elaborated earlier about the Poland goalie just being incredible with the size of the guy. I mean, he's just huge, and just an incredible goalie. I mean, had a save, multiple saves. I mean, was on track to beat Tim Howard's record in a game with the single most saves against Argentina, right? So I'm really excited to see him versus the Mbappe matchup. That's going to be a really good one to watch. But I don't think that Poland's defense and their strikers midfield, I don't think that they're going to have enough of what it takes to beat France. I mean, France is, like I said, was just an amazing team. I think Poland's strong suit is their goalie, but their defense is certainly not doing them, huge favors. So I'm going to take France on this one.
Kath?
Listen, Poland would have a chance if they were not going up against that guy. I mean, no matter how good their goalie is, no one is stopping Kylian. France is moving on handedly. I would not be surprised if they completely shut out Poland here.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, yeah, Lewandowski is very good. He's taken a bit of a dip since winning the Ballon d'Or. But yeah, this France team is just too good, guys. I mean, Mbappe is essentially a sitting duck in terms of just staying on offense and constantly putting pressure on the goalie. A fun stat I just found. He has 34 possessions in the opposition's penalty area or the 18-yard box. And then in second place is 18. And then in third place is Messi with 17. So pretty much double number 2 and number 3 in terms of possession in the opposition's penalty box. So I think for that reason alone, as well as Griezmann, as well as Lloris in goal, yeah, I'm once again, I'm taking France 2+ goals in this one. I think it's a commanding victory for the French.
Yeah, and then, like you said, I mean, Mbappe, it's just very easy to tell that he's athletically just so much more better and skillfully better than every other player on the field. I mean, even if it's not directly scoring, his playmaking is just insane. I mean, some of the passes he's making, no look, flicking it backwards to his teammates, it's insane. I don't think any other player can do what he's doing.
I completely agree, too. The potential he has is wild. And also him possibly being the best player in the World Cup at the moment and
Yeah.
still being 23, 24, 25, whatever he is. Like, that is super impressive to me, especially when you're seeing guys like Modric playing into their late 30s. Like, we're going to be seeing a lot of Mbappe for the future, and I cannot wait. He is truly something special. We'll move on to the next game, England versus Senegal, Sunday at 2 p.m. Andrew.
Right, so this one should be a no-brainer. I think England's going to easily take it. I mean, with Senegal losing to the Netherlands by 2 goals, scoring none, they beat Qatar 1-3, and then Ecuador, which these two are both not very strong teams. I mean, Qatar with 3 losses, and Ecuador, just not very dominant through this year at all. So I think Senegal basically made it just because of their matchups. They're not that good of a team, and England obviously is one of the powerhouses. So I think that England should easily take this from Senegal.
Skeff?
I mean, Senegal might have a chance now that England doesn't have a queen. But other than that, I think England has a great chance at winning this game. I think they completely dominate Senegal here. They're gonna move on. Hopefully, they come see the USA in the finals because that'll be a complete beatdown on England.
That would countries with their wars would be started if England, the US.
Oh yeah, that's Revolutionary War Part 2, but this time we dominate even more than we did the first time.
So kept making very, very egregious promises. You gotta love it though. Yeah, guys, it's gonna be another complete agreement across the board here. I'm going England. I mean, they looked great in the group stages besides for the America game. But hey, maybe that was just America playing up to them. Maybe it was England playing down to us. I don't want to put that out there because I'm rooting for America. But no, I mean, Maguire is looking great on defense. I take it back. So I'll just keep going with England. Maguire is looking great on defense. Obviously, you still have Harry Kane, a striker. That is super dangerous. So, yeah, I got England in this game. Wouldn't be surprised if Senegal keeps it close late, though. But, yeah, give me the English in this one to advance. Next up, we have, if I could scroll here, we got Morocco versus Spain. So the unlikely powerhouse versus the pretty set in stone powerhouse. So Andrew, who are you going to go with here on this one?
Honestly, seeing Spain play in the rounds before this, I mean, I got to be completely honest with you. I'm going to take Morocco on this one. Spain has been not that special throughout this tournament, and I think that they, losing their first game, I think that Morocco with 2 wins and a tie, I mean, honestly, I think that they could take it from them and potentially face the winner of the Portugal-Switzerland match.
Steph?
Andrew, let me ask you a question, okay? You watch basketball by any chance?
No, I don't.
You watch football?
Yeah.
Okay, let's put this in football terms for a second, okay? Lions go on a 3-game win streak, okay? Everyone thinks, oh my gosh, the Lions are so good. Their offense is stacked, right? Then they play against, let's say, I don't know. Let's say they play against the Cowboys. Shout out Ben. Who are you taking in that game? Who has more talent?
The Lions.
No, you're kidding. I'm taking Spain. They have more young talent.
The Cowboys.
They're much more established team. I mean, look for players like Pedri to step up. I mean, there's way more talent on the Spain team. I think, they played a little bit less than what I expected them to play during the group stage, and I'm taking Spain to win this.
This one, I know I'll be the deciding factor here. This one is so close for me. I mean, yes, Morocco tied Croatia and just barely beat Canada by a goal. They also beat Belgium by 2. So it's like, it's so tough for me. I want to go Morocco because that would just be so fun. But this I'm sorry, but this Spain team is just it's so good this year. And I think they at least make the round of 8. We'll see where it goes after that. But yeah, I got Spain going through to the round of 8. So Spain will go through. That's a 2-against-1. Andrew, I wish I could have agree with you, man. That would have been so fun.
All right, we'll find out.
Yeah, for me, I just think I think Spain is just got the more talented team. Although I love the streak Morocco is on right now. Final game of the round of 16: Portugal versus Switzerland. This could be a very, very fun matchup.
Stop it. No, it won't be.
Let's see then. Andrew, who are you taking in this one?
I mean,
Say it.
I hate to be
Say it,
basic
Andrew.
here, but I gotta go with Portugal. I mean, Portugal is the regular team, and with Ronaldo, it's just like, I mean, Switzerland. Who? I mean, like, let's be real here.
Oh, I think they
Let's be
deserve a
real.
little bit of respect.
Not
I
gonna
guess
happen.
not.
It's a Lamicki team, Lamicki Chadwick team. That's what it is. But yeah, Ben, I don't want to hear it. Portugal's winning. If you pick anything else, I mean, you're just a silly guy, silly goose.
Give me the Swiss.
No way!
Hey, it's 2-1 anyway, so Portugal's moving on.
No
in our
way!
group bracket. Give me the Swiss. Yep.
And for what reason would that be?
He doesn't
Manuel
have a
Akanji.
reason. It's just out of spite.
No, it's not out of spite. I mean, yeah, I'm not a massive fan of Ronaldo. I think the Swiss have played so well right now. Manuel Akanji is looking like an incredible playmaker right now for them. They beat Cameroon, barely lost to Brazil, which is impressive in and of itself. I mean, that is insane. And they move on. They're with Brazil. Like I said, they barely lost to Brazil. They beat Serbia. So it's like, dude, I love this Swiss team so much, and I got them moving on in my bracket. But of course, this is a group bracket, so Portugal will be moving on. The next game we'll have, I think we could save the U.S. game for last. So let's stay down here. We'll have
Can we do
Portugal.
US game first?
No, I was gonna save it for last. We can go right back there and do it first. You want to do it first?
Oh, are we doing the whole tournament?
Yeah, we're gonna do the entire
yeah,
tournament.
Got it.
Yeah, so we'll head back here. I can't really put it on screen, but right now we have the U.S. facing off against Messi and Argentina. So, Andrew, this one's a tough one, but where are you going with this?
It pains me.
No, stop.
It really does.
Do it for the
pains me
Eagle.
to say it. And
Do it
I
for
know
Uncle Sam.
nobody wants to hear it.
For Uncle
but
Sam.
Argentina is gonna be on top.
You
I hate to say
non-believer.
as
Do it
a
for Uncle
blood
Sam at least.
American man. I hate to say it. It pains me as much as it is to see him lose. But Argentina is gonna take it and they're gonna move on. The US is not gonna win. If they beat the Netherlands, which they most likely will, I don't think it's gonna happen against Argentina. Trust me, it'll be a great game.
I mean, Andrew, are you
don't
getting
think it's
paid
gonna
like the FIFA voters out here? Is that what's going on? Like, give me the US. They're beating Messi. Musa is locking up Messi. That's what's gonna happen.
Sakath, I want to be on your side, man. I will be in terms
Please.
of
Or Uncle Sam, do it.
I can't. No, I can't.
You got to. You have to.
And you know what? I'll be really upset when this happens. But just because of just the fandom I have for Messi, the love I have for Messi, if he goes on to win the title at the end by beating us, I'll be content with that. But I think he does beat us in the quarterfinals. So Argentina is going to be moving on in our bracket. Next up, we have Croatia facing off against Brazil. Andrew.
I mean, depending on when Neymar gets back, if it's 1 or 2 games, I really don't know. It's going to be a tough matchup. Brazil's obviously the favorite here. And with me personally not being a complete Brazil fan, I still would like to see them move on. But it hurts me, again, to say. But I think Croatia is going to take the cake here. Just because of them making it last year, I think that, Brazil is just going to have a tough time against Croatia with how well that they've been playing.
And it looks like if he's not back for the South Korea game, it's almost a guarantee that he'll be back if they make the quarterfinals. So let's just say Neymar is back for the rest of the tournament now.
Well, if we're putting it in those terms, I'm still going to have to say that Croatia wins over Brazil.
Wow.
It's a hot take, but I think it's going to happen.
Sakath?
Okay. I just had to,
It's understandable.
beat whatever I just heard out of my head.
Yep.
That was insane, Andrew. I mean, disrespectful, I think. I mean,
That's fair to
I
say.
shouldn't
I
have to
personally-
explain why Brazil is gonna win. I shouldn't have to.
I'm a Brazil fan, and it hurts me to say it.
I should
but
not
I
have to
say
explain
it.
why Brazil
you're
is
a
gonna
Brazil-
dominate that game.
I mean, you're a Brazil fan, and they're pretty much the favorite to win the tournament, and now you're picking Croatia to beat. Like, what is happening?
I have to.
Why? Why do you have to?
Because that's just what it feels. It just feels right. It feels right. Croatia seems to be the better team. Brazil has not been. I mean, like, I feel like
I just gave myself a concussion for you, and you still didn't change your pick.
Dude,
This is insane. It's insane. It's disrespectful.
I was extremely iffy on Croatia.
I mean, like,
even getting
let's
past
be real
Japan.
here. Losing to Cameroon is sad. It's sad. Let's be real.
It wasn't great. Cameroon was a top like 20-25 team.
They are not. Cameroon is not.
Okay.
No, they are not. No. Mm-mm. They beat
All right, well-
Switzerland by 1.
Ben, just say it and move
Serbia
on.
by
Say
2.
it and move
I mean,
on.
So,
They
Zakev,
are not
you're
special.
going with Brazil?
Yes, I'm going with Brazil.
I am
That's
too. All the reasons I gave before. Casemiro, Neymar's
Ridiculous.
back. This team is unreal. I mean, I don't know. How could you not at least pick Brazil to get past the quarterfinals is absurd to me. Yeah, Brazil is moving on in our group tournament right now. Next game up on the other side of things, England versus France. This is a jam-packed game. We're talking politics. We're talking skill on the field, off the field. So, Andrew, who are you going with in this one?
Listen, I'll be honest. French athletes annoy me just because they seem arrogant for some reason. That's just my personal take.
Whoa.
But Mbappe and the French team, they're gonna win against England. I don't care. They're gonna take the cake. England has not. I mean, tying with the United States. Let's be real. The United States is a good team, but they're not that good compared to other teams in this league. I mean, like, England is gonna lose by, I'm gonna say, at least 2 goals to France. It's kind of rough, but I'm foreseeing it happening.
Kev?
There's only one good country that speaks English, and we all know what it is. It is the red, white, and blue, the good red, white, and blue, the U.S. red, white, and blue, Uncle Sam. Yeah, there's no way the English are beating the French. I mean, it's the French. Remember the Mbappe song?
You don't have to play it again. We remember it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's no other reason besides the fact that the French have the best player in the World Cup.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This is actually a close one for me.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
no,
yes,
it's
it is.
not. No, it's not.
England's losing by 2 goals.
Dude, I think England is a legit team. I'm not gonna I think they're a really good team. I'm not gonna say they're gonna lose by 2 goals. I think they're gonna lose by a goal maximum if they even lose. But yeah, I'm going France in this one too. Once again, I think it's gonna be very close. But yeah, give me the French, give me Mbappe, give me Griezmann to move on to the semifinals. Final game of the quarterfinals: Spain versus Portugal. Andrew.
Spain versus Portugal shouldn't even be a question. Portugal should easily take this. I mean, I said Morocco was going to win against Spain. And obviously, Portugal is a more dominant team than Morocco and Spain. So, I mean, Portugal with Ronaldo, I love the guy. They're going to obviously take this one.
Steph?
What if I told you that Spain is going to beat Portugal? What if I told you that? I think Spain will beat Portugal. Spain will beat Portugal. And I think, Spain has some really great young talent. I mentioned earlier. I think, they undershot themselves a little bit in the group stage. I think they're going to get better and better each game, especially with the amount of young talent they have. So give me Spain. They're beating Portugal. CR7 is going home. Wow, wow.
Hey, Saketh, I mean, Andrew had Spain out in the round of 16. I have Spain making the semifinals. Give me Spain in this one as well.
Let's go, Ben.
Like you said, I mean, it is actually a young lineup for Spain. I love Pedri at the midfield. There's just so much talent all around on this Spain team. So, yeah, CR7 is getting knocked out in our bracket in the quarterfinals. So, see you later to Cristiano Ronaldo. And back to another GOAT of soccer, the semifinals. These semifinals are picture perfect in my eyes. First game we have Argentina versus Brazil. Andrew.
Argentina versus Brazil. I mean, this is going to be one of the toughest matchups in the bracket. I mean, with both teams, having kind of a tough loss. I said Brazil was, not what it could be or what it really is, what you guys think it is. I mean, Argentina with Messi, I mean, the way that they performed through these first couple of games against Brazil. Brazil's obviously the favorite. But I think it's kind of a hot one, but I'm going to have to take Argentina on this one.
I love it. Kev?
One thing that really separates Argentina and Brazil is the amount of depth these lineups have. And I think Argentina is more of a one-man show. And I think, I have to take Brazil here just because I think, Messi's aging and I don't think he himself can carry this team past a super team like Brazil, honestly.
Yeah, so I mean, Kathy, I think you said it perfectly. The logical pick here is Brazil. The depth they have is just you can't even question it. Like they're just the better team.
Yeah.
So give me Lionel Messi. Give me Argentina.
No, stop.
I'm sorry. It's just I
think you missed Will a little bit.
I understand it makes zero sense, but it's just something about Messi going out. I don't see him I don't see him being able to do that. I see him possibly winning the whole thing. Maybe that. I mean, I'm rooting for that if he beats USA. But yeah, give me Argentina. It's a terrible pick. I hate that I just made that pick. But yeah, give me Argentina.
That's a damn shame. That's shame on you, Ben. Shame on you.
I accept it. It's a horrible pick. Andrew, I think your pick sucked too. But I'm with you. Me and Andrew are taking Argentina. Therefore, Argentina moves on to
Mickey bracket. That's what this is.
The final. Next game we have the last semifinal. This team will play Argentina. France versus Spain. Andrew.
France versus Spain. Spain should not be in there, period. Spain is getting knocked out by Morocco. And then eventually, like you guys have them beating Portugal. That is outright ridiculous. And against a team with like France, I mean, we already said that France is probably one of the most dominant teams in the whole freaking thing. I mean, no, like Spain does not even have a chance to make it out against Morocco, and they would have absolutely zero chance to get it out against France. Sorry, France is obviously going to win this matchup. I don't care what anyone says. This is obviously, just be logical here. Like France is obviously going to take this one.
Logic doesn't always win. Did you think logically the Bengals were going to make the Super Bowl last year? No. And for that reason, Spain is going to the finals.
Ja'Marr Chase.
What?
I mean, yeah. All right.
Spain. Give me Spain.
No.
So Kath is taking Spain. I still think they completely deserve to be here, Andrew. I mean, getting out against Morocco and then Portugal. You're a madman for that. Morocco? Are you kidding me?
Morocco is taking the cake. I don't care what any of you say. It's going to happen. Spain does not deserve to make it into the semifinal or even the final. Like, I don't even care. Like, they don't deserve to be as far as passing Morocco. They are not beating Morocco.
Hey, we left that one in the past. I mean, I'm sure we're going to revisit that one before and after the game. This is going to be such a good game if it happens in the semifinal. But yeah, I'm going to take France in this one. Like Saket said, Mbappe is just too good. I know it's not a one-man show, obviously. I keep saying the same names over and over again. Griezmann, Lloris. I mean, there's so much talent on this team all over the place. So give me France moving on to the final. So December 18th is when the World Cup final will be held. Argentina versus France. Andrew.
All of logic says that France will win.
Stop kissing Messi's butt, please. Please.
Argentina. I love Argentina. They beat Australia. They beat the Netherlands. Or they beat the US, sorry, not the Netherlands. And then
Who's the
make
better
it
player right
past
now? Who is the
Brazil.
better player
And
right
then they
now?
make it past
Messi or
the
Mbappe?
final against the French.
Who's the better player?
Logic says that
I don't care
the
about logic.
French
Who's the better
will win.
player?
But guess what? Miracles happen. Give me Argentina, baby. Let's go.
There it is, Saketh.
I might have brain damage for the amount of stuff you've said in this episode.
Give me Argentina.
You gotta be kidding me. Give me France.
Saketh is going with France. And I mean, yeah, Andrew, I think the logic is catching up with me, dude. I like Messi, he's gonna have to hand the torch off to Mbappe, and I think he does that in this game. He hands the torch to Mbappe, and then he uppercuts him and takes the torch from his hands.
No!
Give me Argentina.
No!
Lionel Messi winning his
Let's
first
go,
ever
baby!
World Cup. The GOAT gets
Argentina
his.
on top. Let's go.
The GOAT gets his. Lionel Messi
go.
winning the
Excellent
World
game.
Cup. How fun would that be? Teammates
I
turn
would
to
be a
enemies.
very happy man.
I would be so happy. Hey, the U.S. is out. I'm all good and voting for Messi, rooting for Messi to win the final, and that's what he will do. Messi wins it against France in the final. Thoughts, Saketh?
I mean, like you can't argue with stupidity, and that's what I'm trying to do right now, right? So I mean, like those with the brain, usually we look at stats, we look at what else? I mean, players, and obviously that doesn't seem to matter to you because which side has the better players? France. Which side has been playing better? France. I mean, it's not a question. It's not.
I love Messi. Let's go Argentina.
I think we're having Wi-Fi.
Do you like
We're
in
having connection
basketball,
issues
right?
here.
I don't watch basketball.
Yeah, okay, but in basketball, there's these things called bronzexuals. I mean, you guys are the closest thing to Messi sexuals at this point, okay? I mean, like it has to stop at some point, and I think it's outrageous to say that he himself is going to carry Argentina to the World Cup and win the World Cup final.
So, Gail, I'm not gonna lie, I cut out for a lot there. My Wi-Fi was not doing too great. I know you probably called me an Andrew stupid. I'm gonna say over 10 times, which I kind of figured would happen. But yeah, I mean, I think that's gonna do it for the episode, guys. This was a pretty good one. I think we're gonna be doing very frequent episodes. Obviously, there's gonna be a lot changing with the World Cup. It's all over in 16 days. But for our very first premiere Joe's Knows World Cup episode, Andrew Eisenhart, Saketh Kodori, I've been your host, Ben Chadwick. Thanks for watching.